Hey, what's going on? It's Stranger and welcome to another YouTube music production video where my mission is to help you succeed in making music. And today we're going to be diving deeper into the darker sounds of liquid drum and bass. And some artists exploring this sound include Ivy Lab, Halogenix, as well as the drum and bass group Visages. This deeper sound is characterized by darker sounding pads, deeper bass lines. Sometimes you'll find neuro bass stabs as well as R&B vocals. Now comment down below if you know of any other artists exploring this deeper sound of drum and bass. And as I've been doing recently, I'm just going to give you guys the preset for free down in the link below. All I ask of you is to hit the like button, subscribe, and share, because all that helps my channel grow. So without further ado, let's get right into it. Alright, we're going to be doing this with Serum, but before we start, we're going to apply a MIDI effect called the chord effect. Now what this effect does is that it sends a group of notes to your instrument so that when you hit a key, it plays those group of notes. So right now when I hit the key, it's just playing one note. Now let's go into the MIDI effects on Ableton and look for the chord effect. Now expand the folder so we can open up the presets, and the one we're going to use today is the house for to go, and just drag it down right before Serum. And now when you hit a key, it's going to play 3 notes indicated by these 3 knobs here, and each of these adjusts the note by a number of semitones, so this creates a minor triad. Okay, now going back to the Serum, the sawtooth is a good waveform to use because it sounds nice and full and it's a good waveform for pads. However, I would also encourage you guys to explore the other waveforms. These spectral waveforms are also really good for creating pads because they sound really full and they have this glassy characteristic to it. So I would recommend you try out any of these waveforms to experiment and find a sound that you like. The one I'm going to use today is the Solid Phase 1. Again, it has a really glassy texture to it. Now you can experiment with the wavetable position. That will just change the texture of the sound. Right there sounds good to me. Let's thicken up the sound by increasing the unison mode anywhere from 3 and up. I'm going to use 6. Now let's decrease the detune to tighten up that sound. Let's enable oscillator B. Now this oscillator is going to play an octave lower. And you can choose various waveforms. I'm just going to use the same waveform here. It just adds a little more body to your pad. And we can play with the wavetable position of this one as well. Again, let's thicken up that sound. Now let's add some attack to that amplitude envelope so it opens up when you hit the note. Now this is optional, but you can enable the sub oscillator to add a little more beef to the pad. Now we're going to have to bring the octave down by -2. Now I like this sawtooth for a bit more harmonics on that sub oscillator. Okay, let's go into the effects section and enable the hyper dimension to add a little more stereo depth to the sound. Now let's turn on the retrig. That just makes sure every time we hit the note it sounds the same. And just bring the rate down a bit so it doesn't fluctuate too much. Now bring the detune down so it's a bit tighter. Let's bring the dimension mix up as well. That just adds a little more depth. And now we're going to enable the chorus effect. So the chorus effect helps smooth out that sound, especially when you're designing pads. You want that silky texture, and that chorus really helps that. So we want a really slow rate, so around here, so it doesn't fluctuate up and down. And then we want really short decay to have that really silky, smooth chorus sound. And just bring the low pass filter of that chorus all the way up so there's no filter. And then increase the feedback of that filter. Just gonna increase the mix of the chorus a little bit. So now it sounds a little more chorusy. And now we're gonna enable the EQ to shave off some of those bottom frequencies as well as round out those top frequencies. So enable the low pass and then adjust the cutoff. And then enable the low pass mode here. And then play this by ear, but what we want to do is shave off those top frequencies. And that resonance just makes it sound a little fatter if you want to make it add a little more juice to that filter. And then let's drown the sound out with some reverb. Just increase the mix up and then make sure to add a bit of low cut to get rid of those muddy frequencies. And you can play with the size and decay. Okay, we're getting very close. One trick to make this super funky, we're going to be using the LFO to modulate the pitch. So let's make sure it's an envelope mode so it cycles only once, and we're using the quarter note position. And then just bring the dot all the way here so it goes from the middle all the way to the bottom. And then let's go into the matrix and set the source as LFO 1 and then the destination as the master tune. Then bring the mount down to -12. Now you can try other values as well, -5 or -9 also works. And notice at the beginning of the pad, when you hold it down, there's this pitch envelope sliding up, and that's thanks to the LFO modulation on the pitch. Now the reason we have this shape and we're using a negative value, that helps the LFO reach the regular note that we want. By the way, if you want to support me, you can grab the Liquid Drum and Bass production kit. I also have a Waves and MIDI pack for all you non-Ableton users. The Liquid Drum and Bass pack allows you to make liquid drum and bass with a few clicks to a button. And also, if you haven't already, you can pick up the Jungle production kit. You can check it all out in the link below. Alright, that's pretty much a deep liquid pad sound. And now that we have the sound, let's try to program some beats and some bass over it. So I have some rolling liquid drums here, and I created it with my Liquid Drum and Bass production kit. And then I have this deep rolling liquid bass here, which I've showed you how to do in a previous video. I simply dialed that cutoff filter back so it's deeper. And then here's the pad, it's mirroring the bass notes, but since we have the chord effect, it's triggering a chord on top instead of playing single notes. And then I have this R&B vocal stab here, which I got from Splice. So let's hear it all together. Alright, so we have some pretty deep vibes here. Alright, we have a few more patterns here. This one here is a cover of About You by Visages. Shouts out to the Visages crew. Here's another one. here's another variation of the Visages one where I pitch it down a bit for a more deeper vibe. So as you can see, it's really easy to dial in that vibe. Once you have that chord effect, all you have to do is find the right bass line and have that right pad sound design, and you're on your way to some deep liquid vibes. Alright, so that was my take on the deeper, darker sounds of liquid drum and bass. And one of the key characteristics of this sound is that darker pad, which is created by dialing back the filter and increasing the reverb for that drowned out sound. And of course, layering that with a deeper bass line and sprinkling it with R&B vocals and sometimes bass stabs really help you hit that vibe. So I hope you guys enjoyed this. I hope you guys found it helpful. And if you did, make sure you hit the like, subscribe, and share buttons. And remember, you can grab the preset for free all down in the link below. So that's pretty much it for today, guys. Thanks for watching. Keep practicing. I'll see you at the next video.